Well, welcome back to the channel. We'll just pick up where we left off with the United States Constitution. Last time we were talking about judicial powers, and it looks like that's what we're going to continue doing. So we're still in Article 3, Section 3. Article 3, Section 3. Can you read that? Of the United States Constitution. Section 3, Subsection 1. Treason against the United States shall only and levy war against them, or adhere to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of two witnesses to the same overt act or on confession and open court. So then we got subsection 2. The Congress shall have power to declare the punishment of treason, but no attender of treason shall work corruption of blood or forfeit except during the life of the person attainted. Oh, just two subsections. And his notes are, the author's notes, treason against the United States shall consist only of levy war against them or adhering to the enemies, giving them aid and comfort. The framers debated the definition of treason at some length, but being precise, they hoped to prevent casual accusations of treason from being used as political weapons. During times of national stress, however, accusations of giving aid and comfort to the enemy have been tossed about rather freely. The same overt act talked is cheap, not in itself an overt act. If talking trash about the government were treasonous, many thousands or millions could be declared traitors today. Subsection 2, his notes are corruption of blood or forfeit exempt during the life of the person attainted. Corruption of blood sounds gruesome, but this clause has been benign purpose. Punishment for treason should not deprive a traitor's heirs of their inheritance. We do not worry about this today, that the framers did worry about. It signals how different their worlds was from ours. So in Article 3, without mention of judicial review, the Constitution does not give the Supreme Court the explicit authority to declare war unconstitutional, but does the court have an implicit authority? How has the judicial review become such an integral part of our government? At the Congressional Convention, several, but not certainly all, delegates assumed their judges would have the power of judicial nullification, as they said at the time. Judges' exposition of the law, said Ilbergary, necessarily involves the power of deciding the constitutionality. As to the constitutionality of laws, Lodmuth observed judges have the negative. James Madison thought that the Constitution would sometimes oblige judges to declare a war null and void. Why did the framers write this into the Constitution? Imagine how they would have played with public unelected judges overturning the will of the people expressly through acts of the elected legislation. This would have sounded no better than it does now, and this might well have jeopardized ratification. But if a judge can't declare a war unconstitutional, who can? Opinions differ at the time. Some said the president could make sure his own acts were constitutional and that Congress could judge by its own acts as well. But what if those two branches differ over who, for instance, has the constitutional power to shape foreign policy? In fact, that was hotly contested in 1790 who should settle such disputes. Some at the time said that the people themselves should decide. Scholars today call this popular constitutionalism. But how are the people aggregated to make that decision, and how can they implement it? Slowly, on its own, the Supreme Court asserted its authority to determine constitutionality, and Hilton versus United States, 1796. It was ruled that a law was unconstitutional, but by so doing, it implied that it might have ruled the other way. Then in Mary versus Madison in 1803, it declared a law to be unconstitutional. No other law was ruled unconstitutional until 1857, when the infamous Dred Scott decision dictated that escaped slaves must be returned to their masters. Since then, however, Americans have come to accept, often begrudgingly, that the High Court has the last word. In Bush v. Gore, 2000, it effectively determined the outcome of the contested presidential election, and the loser saw no choice but to abide. Even so, we continue to complain about the activities of judge. When things go our way, that is. If you are a staunch supporter of the rights of the bear arm and our town decided to permit the carry of guns in public, you don't want some activist judge to interfere. On the other hand, you will want the courts to interfere if your town outlaws the carrying of guns in public, which in your opinion violates the Second Amendment. Competing and often malleable interpretation of the Constitution provides a playing field for our continued debates. So that was Article 3. Section 3 of the United States Constitution. Next time we'll start Article 4. So if you have any questions or comments, please post them in the boxes below. Till next time, keep reading, keep educating yourself, and keep learning. God bless.